James, first of all, Kwasi Asante, I know everyone will be keen to know what's the latest on his knee injury.
I thought that might be your first question this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a question on everyone's lips. Not great, but we don't know the severity of it still. We'll find out this afternoon. He's had the scan. But unfortunately, with everything going on, obviously in the hospitals at the moment, there's been a slight delay on the specialist reading the scan. So just literally probably find out this afternoon, and then I'll have an update after the game tomorrow.
So at the minute, not this weekend, and then we'll find out more in the future.
Yeah, you'll find out. Well, obviously, if you're not at the game tomorrow, then you won't know. But if you ask me the question tomorrow, I'll know. I'll give you the answer.
Of course, when somebody's out, it presents an opportunity for other people. I imagine you've got a few others that are chomping at the bit to get going. For example, Nathan Tyson, is he ready to start sort of regularly if he's needed to?
Yeah, he's obviously built his fitness up in the minutes he's played. Yeah, of course, as you said there, it's a squad game. We've been saying that from the start. We knew we were going to pick up some injuries, suspensions along the way. Give someone else an opportunity, however we set up tomorrow.
I mean, Cairo Mitchell appears to be a well-timed piece of business. I imagine at the time it wasn't for this reason, but good to have him through the door now as an option.
Yeah, it's bittersweet a little bit with that one, isn't it? Because he's come in the building and he's played an hour with Kwasi, and unfortunately Kwasi's picked up that injury. But we've got two other good strikers as well in Addy and Marcus. So we've got plenty of competition there, and whether we play with two strikers, one striker, three, we've got options, and that's what's important in this running.
Is that one of the things that you're thinking about now, whether you do sort of do a like-for-like swap or you change it around a bit, look at different combinations or different options?
Well, yeah, we've played with three strikers or three up top against Eastleigh in the second half there. We've played two up top, obviously, the other night, and we've played with one. So we've mixed it up, and we'll need to do that with the different challenges that the opposition pose. And Bromley certainly pose a challenge tomorrow. They're in good form. But we are also obviously in very good form, only losing 4 in 24. So we go in tomorrow with great confidence, and I've got every confidence in the squad that's here now. It's been really pleasing that the board have backed me on the transfers I wanted to bring in. But on that, some of the inaccurate reports on transfer fees we've paid, it's been wild. It's way off the mark. They're inaccurate, what's been reported. Also, the timing of when we pay those fees won't be coming out of this year's budget. And thirdly, we've cut the budget by 20% going into next year. So there's no wild spending here. It's been capped, and it's very measured towards the medium financial stability of the club. So it's important that those three things are highlighted in this press conference today.
Is that something that's frustrated you? Because people clearly looked at just the plain numbers, 17 now through the door, and could put 2 and 2 together and say Chesterfield are giving it a real go and throwing X, Y and Z at it. But clearly from your perspective and the club's perspective, there's a lot more context to it. Yeah, frustration is the wrong word. It's just the work that's been done here by the staff, the board, to get us into this position has been remarkable on the football side. We've no doubt we've played very well in these 4 months. We've played excellent to get up to 5th. We've overcome different type of challenges, like I said, and different battles, and we're in a good run of form. We need to continue that form to be able to get into the top 7, which will be a great feat if we get in the playoffs. No doubt about that. That wasn't on our agenda when I first come into the building. But the mud that's being thrown towards the club, I'm unhappy with, because it's inaccurate. You know, the budget's being cut. It needed to be transformed because it hadn't worked in the 2 previous years in the National League. We've been near the bottom. So it was important that we started changing that and changing the personnel, staff and players, and we've done that. And we're getting instant success. There's been some adversity along the way. There'll be some more. But it's similar with the furloughing the players. We weren't the first to do it in this league, and we're not the last. There's been furloughing of players throughout the league. But it seems that because we've been honest about it, we get mud thrown at us, and I don't really accept that, to be honest. Your latest signing,
James Montgomery from Gateshead on a short-term deal. Do you tell us about him and why you brought him to the club?
Yeah, it's a really good addition for us. He's got experience, obviously done very well at Fylde. Gateshead's season's obviously null and void. His contract comes out or finishes rather in the next 2 months. So for James and us, it was a good fit, and he'll provide great competition with his experience at this level.
In terms of the players that are out at the minute, clearly, obviously, Denton and Hollis already gone. We think Asante may well be out for a little while as well. I mean, this just highlights sort of why you built the squad that you have, and the fact that, you know, there are a lot of games and everyone is going to be needed. You know, you don't know what's around the corner. Yeah,
if you look at Sutton, Hartlepool, Stockport, Notts County added obviously Griffiths from Crewe, so the other teams are adding as well in and around our position. So I think that everyone's on the same line of thinking. It's the intensity of the games now. Probably every game's a cup final because there's every place to play for. Obviously with Sutton's recent form, it's opened up the title race as well for a couple of other teams. So you know, it's the league title's there to be won, and also the top 7 positions are there to be gained. So it's everything to play for, isn't it?
When you say the league title's there to be won, is that one of your ambitions still this season, that you can potentially challenge for those first, second and third places?
Yeah, it's a rascal question, that one. No, we're just concentrating on securing a top 7 place. I said the first objective was getting safe on merit in the league, making sure we continue National League status by merit. I know there's no relegation, but we did that. We're over 50 points. I think 45 would have done it with 42 games only this year. We've done that. The next one was, can we get into the top 7 and try and secure our place as quickly as possible? Well, we're in the top 7. There's a lot of teams vying for those positions, and one of those is our opponents tomorrow.
Just some reflections on the Boreham Wood game. I mean, you never really know how vital a point is going to be when you come to the end of the season. I suppose from your perspective, yes, you didn't win it, you didn't score, but you've come out with something.
We did, and you go up a place because the points you've accumulated before in the 5 previous games, where you get 15 points out of 15, the 16th point gets you up that one place because you're continuously adding points to your tally. The game was 2 halves really. First half we were really in control. They had 1 shot on target, pulled off where Smithy pulled off a good save, went for a corner. But other than that, we should be 3-0 up really. Kwasi's got 2 great chances. Kai would score that header on another day, just mistimed it, and obviously Fraser as well, so 4. But you would expect to take at least 1. Going into half time, they came out quite strong. But we grew ascendancy just before Kwasi's injury. His injury sort of affected our momentum, and they had the better sort of last quarter of the game. So they're no mugs though. They're unbeaten in that period of games. 13 is it, or whatever they're unbeaten in, for a reason. And they've got their, you know, speaking to Luke, they've got their eyes on a late playoff push as well.
You feel like more and more teams are going to try and defend a little bit more against you, try and stifle you, and is that something that you've got to deal with over the coming games?
Well, there's an expectancy, isn't there, around us as well, and there's a few people disappointed after a point against Boreham Wood, where you've won the last 5 as well, so it shows you 16 points out of 18, and a few people are disappointed, so it shows you what the expectation levels are. But we have to, you know, that's part of it. We have to ride that. What I do like is people are talking. They've got opinions, and they're only with good intentions. They want the best for the club and best for the team, and I like that. I want people talking. I want it to be a place where people want to come and watch football and be entertained, and have an opinion about the game. And that's what it's about. It's about camaraderie and bringing the community together. And I like the opinions.
Well, you're never going to be shy of them in football, James, so I'm sure you're more than well aware of that. Next up, of course, Bromley, like you said, first of 2 meetings with them in 11 days. What do you make of them and the challenge they posed?
Yeah, strong team. The new managers had a good start, obviously with the wins and the draw, and they're going to be coming here and full of confidence themselves, and they're going to want to get another positive result. They've shown what they can do on TV against Stockport as well. where they grew into the game and perhaps could have won it in the end. So we know what threats they've got. They've obviously got a goal scorer up front in Michael, who's a really big threat with his goal return. Again this year, he's done it for year after year. So we know what they can pose, but we know what we can do. And with their shape, I'm sure we can open them up. And it will take maybe some patience, but we've got to make sure when we get those opportunities, we must take them. We've got to be ruthless in these tight games where people are pushing for those playoff positions against our direct opponents. We need to be a little bit more ruthless.
Yeah, it's getting to the stage of the season where when you do play teams around you, it's potentially worth 6 points, isn't it? Obviously for you, and you're taking 3 off somebody else. It just increases that, that feeling of importance on all the games.
Yeah, but instead of it looking at like that, I look at it in a different way. Is I know what points we need to get in those playoffs, and I know what the benchmark is, and the players are aware of it as well in terms of one game at a time. If we get 3 points tomorrow, that's on our tally, and we're closer to where we want to be.
I mean, you're currently top of a group of 6 teams that are separated by only 5 points. For you, is it crucial, though, to keep looking upwards and forwards rather than peering back over your shoulder?
100%. It's that mindset in this environment, and everyone's on board with it. We've got to focus on ourselves, be positive every day, train properly as hard as we can. Now, yesterday was a little bit of a lighter day because we've had the Kings Lynn and the Bournemouth game. But today, again, even though it's game day -1, we need to train with intensity, know what structure we want to go with tomorrow, and make sure we train how we want to play tomorrow.
Thanks, James.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good morning, James.
Hi, Lim.
How proud are you to be named the Manager of the Month for March?
Yeah, it's very much a we, but yes, of course, I lead that process, and I'm very, very proud to get that accolade, but I'll swap it for promotion.
And like you say, you're not someone who puts too much emphasis on individual awards. It's very much a team effort, hasn't it? Which was showed by the photo which was taken on the training ground.
Yeah, I wanted that to. I hope that symbolises what we're trying to build here with the community trust as the board, the individuals here off the field and on the field. It's very much a team process. There could have been a lot more people on that picture, but we couldn't fit it in the camera lens.
A few fans are asking about Joel Taylor. Is it just difficult to pick him at the minute, given the form of Alex Whittle?
Well, we'll see over the next few weeks. He struggled in that isolation period where he had a double hit, and that's really affected his fitness. He needed a different programme to perhaps where the squad were when he came back, and obviously Alex's good form as well. But let's see what happens over the next few weeks. He's definitely got the weapons we need and can add things to the team. I'm sure he'll get an opportunity in the coming weeks.
Do you feel like you've got the best 2 left backs or left wing backs there? Because there's really not much to choose between them, is there? Really, they're both very talented.
They are both talented, and that's what we want. We want competition for places. Obviously, bringing James and Manny in. On top of that, James gives good competition for the number 1 spot here now. With his experience, he's a National League player minimum. He's shown that with his appearances and his success that he's had in those appearances. He's recently had a good loan at Southend as well, an emergency loan in League 2, and come straight into their team and conducted himself very well in the games I've watched. And obviously Manny, you would say, has plied his trade very well in League 2. The challenge for Manny is going to be making sure he plays consistently now, which he knows. He needs more minutes. He didn't have enough minutes on the pitch in the 3 years he had at Port Vale. But the year before, when he was with me last, we managed him very well as part of a management team that managed him very well, and he played 46 times in the calendar year. So if we can get those numbers up again, he's going to be a very good asset for our football club.
And does James's Montgomery's arrival mean that Adam's gone back to Ipswich?
He has. Yeah, he's gone back. I keep reiterating that we need the right personnel and the culture that I'm trying to build here. And he didn't fit into that.
Jack McCourt then, how far away is he?
Yeah, he's had a setback, so he's not going to be available for tomorrow still. He had a setback about 9 days ago. He hasn't recovered from that. He's not where he needs to be. but he'll definitely be coming into the fold before the Hartlepool game.
And you've got great competition for places in midfield now. It's going to be difficult to keep them all happy, isn't it?
Well, the games are coming thick and fast. The challenge for any player in the squad now is, okay, with the biggest games coming up, if it's not an intensity of games when they die down a little bit after the Hartlepool or Torquay game rather on that Monday, is okay, now they've got rest and I'm picking perhaps the best 11 to win those games at the end of the season. And if we get in the playoffs, can you be in the starting 11 for those games? That's the challenge, because at the moment you have to rotate it. We want to play with an energy and a freshness, and it's a very delicate decision-making process on each game now. It's a challenge for myself and the staff to make sure we pick the right team to win the game and have that energy. It's a decision they're decisions that come with great complications, really, because you don't want to upset the apple cart too much, because the team's been playing well. You know, we've picked up a lot of points, 16 out of 18, but we have to freshen it up as well. And I'm sure everybody understands that in and around the club.
Not a bad headache to have, though, is it? Having all those options that you've got.
No, it's not a bad headache, but you know, we've got a talented squad now, and hopefully they can get us where we want to be.